Welcome to your journey of healing with the Healing Podcast, hosted by licensed clinician Monique Owe and co-host Dr. Amber Mohn.
Thank you for tuning into the Healing Podcast. I am your host, Monique Owe, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host here,
Dr. Amber Mohn.
Okay, so today's topic is loving you from a distance. Before we talk about the topic, thank you again for your support and for tuning into the Healing Podcast. So, Dr. Mohn, what does it mean to love a person from a distance?
It means that you're understanding that, we can't, but might not be able to be around each other every day. We might not be able to talk every day, but we do understand that I love you and acknowledge who you are in my life. However, based on, possible things that have happened in our past or what I know about you, we can only go so far. We have to have distance in between us.
Okay. So we're not necessarily talking about Dr. Mohn just because we're in a long distance relationship type thing. We're talking about someone who we might have cared for, but maybe me loving them might be a little bit too harmful right now. It's just not good. So I might have to love you from afar.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So those examples of when you would have to love someone from a distance, I think would be maybe the person takes too much advantage of you. So you having them around is just too much. Maybe it's a sibling who won't get their act together, constantly involved with the legal system and not getting the picture, and you bail them out, and back out and bail them out, and now you just can't do it anymore. Maybe a person is suffering from addiction, Dr. Mohn, right?
Yes.
You want to help them, you love them, you want to be there for them, but this time you just can't go down that road again because the addiction is taking too much of a toll. So you might have to love that person from a distance. Well, Dr. Mohn, can I ask you, does loving you from a distance, does it mean we don't talk anymore?
No.
Okay. How do I do that? Do we talk less? Is that what it is?
So it's putting up boundaries. If talking to someone who doesn't bring value into your life or, doesn't make you happy, then, you might not want to talk to them. But if it's okay to talk to them, but not go anywhere with them because you might go to jail for, whatever reason, or, let's say, for instance, parents. You might have a parent who, was in and out of your life, and maybe them being in your life because of whatever reason is not, is making you depressed or making you unhappy, or you're constantly getting disappointed. You may have to say, this is my mom. I'm always going to love my mom, but she can't be in my life because when she is, I'm always depressed, or I feel like some of the things that she's doing, I'm doing to my own kids. So let me create some space. That's what I mean.
Okay, that makes sense. Because there are some parents who maybe they have been in and out. It's too heartbreaking. Sometimes when you let the person in, it's heartbreaking, right, Dr. Mohn? Like if me trying to have you in, then you disappear again, then you come in just a bit. That's even painful. Yeah. So everything that it takes out of me to do that, it's just better for me to just love you from a way where once a year I make sure you get a birthday card. I make sure I acknowledge you. I might even talk to you for an hour, but we're not doing the whole every holiday, every vacation. We're not doing that.
Right.
Suffering from addiction. It might be, I will send you care packages to treatment if I know where you are. But no, I can't come visit you all the time at the program. No. It might, Dr. Mohn, this is the hard one. Even so, it might mean, especially with addiction, where we can't talk for a little while.
Yes.
You have, every time you come, you've stolen, you've cheated or from us, you've lied to us. And at this point, we can't do it anymore because it's too much of a toll. We're enabling you. So it does mean I might have to go a little while without talking to you. That is the hard one, I know, because you're wondering what happened to your loved one.
Yeah.
But I think what's greater is making sure they got to get their self together, and you got to keep yourself together. So that is also, I think, Dr. Mohn, just sometimes it is, I'm not going to be able to talk to you, right? Some, like you said, I can, here and there, I can engage with you, and others, no. Yeah. But I do love you, though. If I love you, I want the best for you. What are the benefits, Dr. Mohn, to somebody loving someone from a distance? Like, what does it benefit the person to do that?
So then there's this, it decreases stress. My thing is if it's about something, a situation where you have a family member who, is an addiction, you're probably not going to stop worrying about them. However, you don't have to worry about them, stealing from you or being a bad influence on your kids and things of that nature. So it separates all of that negativity and allows you to kind of continue living your life, from a distance.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense. It is that. It is protection, the stress-free, the protection for others. It is a big sacrifice. But I think ultimately it will give you peace of mind to know. You always want them to be okay, but it does, because think about the worry you go through when you are there, right? Especially addiction. What you're seeing them go through, seeing them get locked up, seeing them come out of jail, seeing them on the street, seeing them come in a fit, stealing from you in a rage, breaking stuff. How much is that costing you?
Exactly.
How much is that, right? Versus when they're not there and it's peaceful. No more arguing.
Yes.
No throwing of things. They're not in a fit. I'm not worried about, am I going to get that call that says you're not safe, So yeah, I can see that, Dr. Mohn, how it can help with stress. It can be better for the other children so they don't have to see that. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense as far as why you would have to love the person from a distance. What if, Dr. Mohn, what about this? What if a person is a bad influence on you? Like when that person is around, you end up getting, I'm always in something. It doesn't matter what age.
Yes.
This is for grown people too.
Yes.
You have sometimes that friend, when they come around, next thing you know, how am I caught up in this?
Yes.
It's when they come around because they're that person.
Yes.
And they bring out maybe that side of you, that wild side. You're like, I can't.
Oh, you can't say no to them.
I can't say no to them. So here they come, putting you in a predicament where now I'm in a legal situation.
Yes.
Because I was following you, right? Because they're that risque person. They're like, come on, let's go in here. Who cares? Let's go down. Let's speed 100 miles.
Let's drive by his house. Let's and do something to his car or whatever.
There you go, Amber. I love it.
Yeah.
And that's that friend who always is ready, who's always on 10. Forget that. Let's go break them. Who cares?
Yes.
And next thing you know, you behind them.
Exactly.
And then you call. Oh, gosh.
That doorbell cam.
Well, we call you on camera. We didn't see a friend.
Yeah.
Well, who's going to have to pay that fine? You are. You can't say, well, friend, you the one who. Well, no, but you got caught, girl. I didn't get caught. Get caught. You got caught.
Yeah.
So that is the loving you from a distance. Sometimes it's that friend that you just cause me to get into too much mess. That guy friend who like, yeah, we're boys, but me hanging with you, I always end up doing something that takes me away from my family. Yeah. So I can't do that with you anymore. Okay, person who's recovered, Amber, who's recovering, they haven't used in years. Here comes that old friend. Remember how we used to do this?
Yep.
Let's go. And then next thing you know, you're back thinking about using again. Yeah. So that is definitely a situation where you might need to, from a distance. Yeah. That's when I think, Dr. Mohn, you don't need to be around anymore at all.
Right. Ever. Like that. Yeah. But even, look, what about our grown kids? Our grown kids who just can't get right. Who are, you've raised to the best of your ability and you've given them every opportunity and they still want to, not do right. It is okay, parents, to love them from a distance, to allow them to be grown-ups and, whatever happens, it's there's nothing you can do about it. And sometimes we feel guilty about that, about letting them go. But if it's not beneficial to what you have going on, if they're on some other stuff, whether it be drugs, crime, or just wanting to be not work and whatever, you love them from a distance. Call me all you want to, but you can't come stay here.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I like that, Dr. Mohn. That's probably a hard one, Dr. Mohn, for people because you don't want your child to suffer. Even your adult children, you're like, I know you can't. You can't be out here. So, Dr. Mohn, that means the person would have to be okay with the fact their child might end up homeless.
So, and yes and no.
Okay.
Because I'm not saying not to be there if they're ready to, do right. If they're ready to do right, but what you're not going to do, and is come into my home, live how you want to live. If you're needing help and you're ready to conform to how we live in this house, I'm always going to be here for you. But you have those who feel like, entitled. I'm going to come in here and you're not going to tell me when to come in. You're not going to tell me what to do. I can smoke. I can cuss, these things. You're not going to do that. And so then, you risk the fact, of being homeless because you're not going to be able to be in my life. And that's to anybody, whether it's your grown kids, whether it's the addicts, whether it's you cannot be in my life the way you want to. We both have to agree. We both have to agree to this relationship.
I love that. That's good, Dr. Mohn. Thank you for that. Well, that helps us make a quick segue here. We're going to get into it. You guessed it, the situation. Dr. Mohn, what's our situation for today?
All right, Dear Healing Podcast. I'm getting married at the end of this year. My soon-to-be husband and I are excited and can't wait. The issue is my mother's health is starting to decline. I am concerned that she may no longer be able to live on her own. If I tell my fiance that I want my mother to move in with us, I wonder if this will change things between us. My fiance adores my mother, and of course I love my mother. I'm just wondering if moving her in during the beginning of our marriage will be healthy for the beginning of our marriage. I feel like I don't have a choice. I have to take care of my mother. I also don't want to lose my fiance. Do you think this means the beginning of the end of my relationship? Wow, good question. And definitely I know a lot of, couples are faced with this on a daily basis. But what I believe is it shouldn't be the end of your relationship because I believe that when you marry, your spouse, you're marrying the entire side of their family. That doesn't mean that anybody can just come stay. We're talking about mom. And so that's always a possibility for the both sides is that, at one point you may have to aid in the care of your parent. And so, you're not in this alone, whether you're married or not, you're not in this alone. So if this is the beginning of your relationship, then it was probably a little rocky to begin with. So that's my take on it.
Thank you for that and for sharing your situation. So let me say this. I don't think it's the beginning of the end. No, I think we just need to be honest with your significant other and tell them earlier than later what your plan is, that your mom can't, not going to be able to live on their own. Maybe you guys can brainstorm of what to do. I'm not saying you have to place your parent in a home somewhere or something like that, but you guys may come up with an idea. Well, this is what we're going to do. We'll rent out a house that has maybe a separate basement and we'll give your mom the basement area to give her little privacy and us privacy. Brainstorming works wonders. So I'm saying my whole point would be, no, just communicate with your spouse. I think if you spring it on your soon-to-be spouse, like a week before the wedding, would be a problem. I think you need to talk to them, tell them what's going on. And like Dr. Mohn said, if this causes the end of a relationship, then there was another issue in there. Yeah. I think we're adults, and I think people know that in adulthood, you might end up having to take care of a parent or a guardian or something because now you got to help them as they took care of you. So I hope that is helpful to you. And if you would like to write into the Healing Podcast and share your situation, please email support@thehealingpodcast.com. And a word from our sponsor before we get back into it from Healing Expressions.
Are you someone who has been considering therapy? Perhaps someone else has told you that you need to talk to a therapist. Or maybe you're in a relationship and you want to discuss some challenges that you've been facing with your significant other. Maybe there's a communication issue, perhaps an incident of infidelity. Or maybe you just want to strengthen your relationship because you guys are thinking about taking another step. Maybe you're struggling with anxiety or depression, perhaps grief, life stressors, and you just want to share your thoughts with someone. Well, consider contacting Healing Expressions. Healing Expressions is a private practice located in the Atlanta, Georgia area. You will be given a session at an affordable price with a licensed therapist. If this resonates with you, consider going to healingexpressionsllc.com, reading about the practice, and hitting the contact tab to see if you can book a session. All right, thank you so much. And back to the Healing Podcast.
Okay, so back into the topic, loving you from a distance. Dr. Mohn, I have highlighted reasons you might need to love someone from a distance. They're just not good for you anymore to love them that closely anymore. Ways you can do it, like I said, it's the cards, it's the once a month, maybe something you see them, maybe once a month phone call, maybe once a year phone call, depending on what's going on. Some people, as we said, you might not be able to talk to them, but you love them. You don't want to see anything bad from them. So I think those are the hard decisions because you have to, I think to help you with loving someone from a distance, you have to understand the cost it is to love them up close.
Yes.
How much does it cost them, right, Dr. Mohn? Because it is costly sometimes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Dr. Mohn, let me ask you, let me go really quick before we go into how to do that. What's the consequence if I don't love you from a distance when I need to? What's the consequence?
Consequences that you could, be into something. You can go into debt. There are loved ones that will put you into debt, make you go, bankrupt. Depression. You could lose relationships with people who really matter because you may be putting this person first that doesn't deserve to be first. So there could be, there could be costs to this.
Very true. They can. I like that, Dr. Mohn, about the debt, because they can.
Yeah.
You have to ask yourself, what are you gaining versus losing? Of course, you might lose not seeing that person all the time, but you may have gained a whole lot of peace.
Yeah.
And a whole lot of opportunity because they're not there. So I think it is true. It is okay to have to choose to love you from a distance. Now, how to do that? Then, Dr. Mohn, how do I start to do that? I think first you have to make the decision that that's what's needed. I think second, you have to create some space.
Yes.
I think you might have to change your phone number. You might have to change your email. Use a different email. Maybe block them, Dr. Mohn, right?
Yeah. Definitely have that conversation and let them know, like, this is what you can't, do. You might even give them an opportunity. Let them know, like, look, if this is how you're going to live your life, then you can't be in my life. If you ever change, then I'm here.
Right.
I still love you. You're still whoever, you are to me. So sometimes it just takes being honest. Take this time, and if you ever change, I'm here.
Makes sense. I love it. That's exactly, I agree, Dr. Mohn. I think Dr. Mohn summed it up well. Talk to him. This is the concept. You don't, but then you have to adhere.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you might have to change your phone number, conversation with them, change your phone number, create some distance maybe. Some people you have to block. But let's say if you did give a last ditch effort, hey, if you change, I'll be there. But if you don't, I'm walking. Make sure you do walk if they don't change.
Absolutely.
That's the hard part. Make sure you keep your word and what you said so that you don't get that big consequence like Dr. Mohn said with the debt or maybe some legal ramifications by being around this person. So I hope that is helpful to you, and I hope that it may be helpful to someone else that you may share it with. And so before we close, anything else about this topic, Dr. Mohn?
No.
Okay. So I'll leave you with this. Just like the moon, I love you in silence from a distance. So just like the moon, I love you in silence from a distance. And that is by Anonymous. So I thank you again for tuning into the Healing Podcast. Thank you for your support. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.